You can repaint a room in a weekend, swap out hardware in an hour, but some home features, once they're in, you're stuck with them for years. And the worst part is, most people don't realize the mistake until they're living with it every single day. These are the 10 home features people regret most. Let's get into it. Square and rectangle sinks have become popular in modern kitchens and bathrooms. The sharp lines give them a clean, contemporary look that photographs beautifully. But there's a reason traditional sinks have curved basins and sloped floors. Traditional sink basins slope toward the drain, so water and debris move toward the exit on their own. Most square and rectangular sinks don't have enough slope to do that. Water pools, coffee grounds, and food scraps just sit there instead of washing away. Then there are the corners. Not all square sinks are created equal. Some have gently rounded interior corners, which are fine. But the ones with sharp, tight 90-degree corners are a nightmare to keep clean. Grime builds up in those edges, and it takes real effort to scrub them out regularly. The smarter choice, if you love the modern look, choose a square or rectangle sink with rounded interior corners and a proper slope toward the drain. That small curve makes a bigger difference than you'd think. You get the same aesthetic without the daily frustration. Number 9. Hollow core doors. Go knock on the door to your bedroom right now. If it sounds empty, that's because it is. Hollow core doors are essentially two thin sheets of fiberboard with honeycomb cardboard in the middle. They're common in new construction because they're cheap and lightweight. Builders love them because they save money. The trade-off is that they offer almost no sound insulation and almost no heat insulation. For a bedroom or home office, that's a real quality of life issue. You don't notice it until you're living with it. Trying to have a phone call while someone watches TV in the next room, or wondering why your bedroom never quite feels warm in winter. According to home renovation experts, upgrading interior doors is one of the most overlooked improvements homeowners can make. The cost is modest compared to the comfort improvement. The upgrade worth making: solid core doors. These have an engineered wood core covered by a veneer. They're far more durable, noticeably better at blocking sound, and they add a sense of weight and quality that hollow cores just can't match. If you're renovating, this is one of the best investments you can make for daily comfort. Number 8. Pot fillers over the stove. Pot fillers sound brilliant until you think about them for more than 10 seconds. They solve the problem of carrying a heavy pot of water from the sink to the stove. But you still have to carry that same heavy pot back to the sink to drain it. The plumbing runs through the wall behind your backsplash. If anything goes wrong, a leak, a joint failure, you're potentially tearing out your entire backsplash to fix it. That's an expensive repair for a feature that saves you a short walk to the sink. The adjustable arms also collect grease quickly from cooking. You'll need to clean them constantly. Most homeowners who installed one say they barely use it after the first few months. The novelty wears off fast when you realize your sink is 3 steps away. Here's the move that makes sense. Skip the pot filler over the stove. If you love the idea of a dedicated water line, install one at a coffee bar or beverage station instead. The use case is specific, it's away from cooking grease, and the plumbing actually makes sense there. Now, before we continue, let me say something important. These features aren't universally bad. Some of them work perfectly for certain homes and certain lifestyles. The point isn't to make you feel terrible about choices you've already made. If something on this list is in your home and you love it, if it makes your daily life better, then that's what matters. You're the one who lives there. But if you're planning changes and want to avoid regrets, keep watching. These next ones are bigger decisions with bigger consequences. Number 7. Barn doors for bathrooms and bedrooms. Barn doors blew up on renovation TV in the early 2010s. Every episode of Fixer Upper seemed to have one. But the reality of living with one is a lot less charming than HGTV made it look. The problem is simple. Barn doors slide in front of the opening rather than into a frame, which means there's no seal. Sound, smell, and light all escape around the edges. Put one on your bathroom and you can say goodbye to privacy. Then there's the style question. In an actual rural farmhouse, barn doors suit the architecture and the lifestyle. But slap one into a contemporary home, and it often looks completely out of place before you even get to the practical problems. When barn doors work, pantries, closets, or dividing open spaces where full privacy isn't the point. For bathrooms and bedrooms, try this. A traditional hinge door or a pocket door that slides into the wall gives you actual privacy and a proper seal. If you love the sliding door concept, invest in a pocket door. It disappears completely and seals properly. Doorless showers are one of the most oversold trends in bathroom design right now. They look stunning in 5-star hotels, but a hotel bathroom is designed to be cleaned by staff every single day. Yours isn't. The floor slope has to be done perfectly. Without a door or screen to contain the water, any drainage issues become obvious immediately. When it's not done right, you're dealing with standing puddles and water creeping onto your bathroom floor constantly. And shower doors don't just keep water in, they keep heat in too. If you live anywhere with real winters, you'll feel the difference stepping out of a doorless shower into cold air. You can add a heating unit, but that's another cost to install and another cost on your energy bill. The other problem is context. A doorless shower can work in a large bathroom with the proper wet zone separated from the rest of the space. But many people try this in small, standard-sized bathrooms where it makes no sense. You're just standing in an open, wet corner with water going everywhere. The practical solution: a frameless glass door or even a simple shower curtain will give you a much better daily experience, and they're far easier to maintain. Save the doorless concept for a large primary bathroom where you have room to do it right. We're halfway through and getting into the features that cost serious money to fix. These next ones aren't about aesthetics, they're about how your home actually functions every single day. If this is helping you think differently about your next renovation, hit subscribe so you don't miss the rest. Number 5. Open shelving as primary kitchen storage. Open shelves look clean, minimal, and accessible. The problem is keeping them that way. An open shelf in a living room gets organized once and stays mostly put. But in the kitchen, things get pulled out and put back several times a day. It doesn't take long before they look chaotic. You find yourself spending more time arranging your dishes than actually cooking. There's also the cleaning. In a kitchen, it's both dust and grease, especially if you do any pan frying at all. That combination creates a film on everything that requires constant wiping. Here's what most people miss. The kitchens you see on social media with beautiful open shelving almost always have generous closed storage elsewhere. They're only displaying a few curated pieces because everything else is tucked away in a pantry or additional cabinets. In most real homes, you don't have that luxury. The open shelves end up holding everything, and it shows. A better approach: glass front cabinets. You get the visual openness while keeping things protected from dust and grease. If you don't want everything on display, frosted or fluted glass lets you add texture without revealing what's behind it. And if you do use open shelves, keep them away from the cooking area and limit them to decorative display only. Open floor plans look incredible in photos. Airy, modern, spacious. For the right lifestyle, they genuinely work, but open plan has become the default, the thing people do without questioning whether it actually suits how they live. Someone's frying onions in the kitchen while you're on a Zoom call in the living room. Good luck with that. It becomes hard to respect each other's activities, especially if multiple family members share the home or often visit. There's also a practical cost people don't think about: storage. Walls hold cabinets, shelving, and built-ins. Remove them and you lose a surprising amount of usable storage. which often means more clutter in the open space you just created to make it feel bigger. Interior designers are now seeing a shift back toward defined spaces, not closed off, but thoughtfully separated. Here's what actually works. Before you knock down any walls, think carefully about whether open plan actually works for your daily life. If you do go open, make sure you have at least one secluded room that isn't a bedroom, a study, a den, a reading nook. Somewhere you can close off. For the best of both worlds, partial enclosures work beautifully. Glass doors let light flow through while giving you sound separation. Sliding wood screens define zones without blocking light. The kind of wooden framework with glass inserts you see in Parisian apartments adds real architectural interest while keeping things visually open. Number 3. Over-the-range microwaves. This is common in North American homes, and it's a classic example of a builder-grade shortcut dressed up as a feature. An over-the-range microwave sits above your stovetop and supposedly doubles as a range hood. 2 appliances in one sounds efficient. In practice, it does both jobs poorly. A dedicated range hood is built to pull smoke, steam, and grease up and out of your kitchen. The fan in an over-the-range microwave doesn't come close. Many units don't even vent outside, they just recirculate, blowing the smoke and grease right back into the kitchen. Over time, that leaves a film of grease building up on your cabinets and surrounding surfaces. There's also the safety issue. Reaching over hot, steaming pots on the front burners just to heat something up doesn't feel safe. And the longevity is terrible. The electronics aren't designed to handle constant heat, moisture, and grease. It's common for these units to fail within 2 to 5 years, far shorter than a standalone microwave or a proper range hood. The fix: a proper range hood will ventilate better, last longer, and won't make your kitchen look builder grade. Put your microwave anywhere else, in a cabinet, on the counter, in a dedicated microwave drawer, or in a pantry, just not above your stove. We're in the top 2 now. These are the most expensive to fix, and they'll define your daily experience for years. If this video has helped you avoid even one costly mistake, share it with someone planning a renovation. They need to hear this before they finalize their plans. Number 2. Floating staircases without proper railings. Floating staircases can be a beautiful architectural feature. They open up a space, let light through, and when done well, they look incredible. But the problem is what people leave off. Too many homes have floating stairs with no railing and no balustrade. Just cantilevered steps with absolutely nothing on the sides. It's almost like the architect designed it and left before finishing the job. In most places, this violates building codes outright. And even where it somehow passes inspection, think about who's actually using that staircase day to day. Kids running up and down. Elderly parents visiting. Anyone recovering from an injury or surgery. A staircase with no edge protection is an accident waiting to happen. You don't think about handrails until you need one. And then it's the only thing you think about. How to get the look. Safely. Glass railings keep the open, airy feel almost entirely intact. Minimalist cable or wire systems practically disappear visually while still providing safety. Either way, you get the aesthetic without the risk. Never sacrifice safety for aesthetics. Number 1. TV mounted above the fireplace. The fireplace is often the default focal point of a living room. Because of that, most people build their entire layout around it without ever questioning whether they should. But they also want a TV, and when they can't figure out where it should go, it ends up above the fireplace. Let's start with the obvious problem. Mounting a TV above a fireplace means you're craning your neck every time you watch something. It's like sitting in the front row of a movie theater for every show, every movie, every evening for years. Over time, that creates real neck and back strain. Visually, stacking 2 focal points on top of each other forces them to compete. The fireplace loses its presence. An ugly, big black rectangle becomes the center of attention when the TV is off. But the bigger mistake is assuming the fireplace has to be your anchor in the first place. Many homes have fireplaces that haven't been lit in 5 years. There's central heating. It's not that cold, but the entire living room is still oriented around the fireplace like it's 1920. At some point, you have to ask, am I designing around how I actually live or how I think the room is supposed to look? Here's the solution. A room can have two focal points, but one needs to be primary. The primary focal point gets the best seat and the straight-on orientation. The secondary gets acknowledged from an angle or from the side. If TV watching is how you actually use the room, orient your seating toward the TV and let the fireplace become a secondary feature. Place the TV beside the fireplace or on a perpendicular wall. If your layout genuinely leaves no other option, a pull-down mount that brings the screen to eye level while watching is a decent compromise. Base cabinet doors versus drawers. Most kitchens come with base cabinet doors because they're cheaper to install. But homeowners say the same thing over and over. They wish they had more drawers. A standard door cabinet is about 2 feet deep. With a door, you're bending down and reaching into that full depth every time you need something. Anything at the back is hard to see and hard to reach. Heavy pots get stacked behind lighter items. It's a daily annoyance. Drawers change that completely. Pull one open and the entire contents come to you. No more crouching to find your cast iron pan buried behind 3 other things. Even deep drawers work beautifully for bulky items like stand mixers and stock pots. Doors aren't always wrong. Tall cabinets, pantries, and under the sink are good use cases. But for base cabinets, invest in more drawers whenever your budget allows. Your back will thank you for years. Now you know what to avoid. But knowing what not to do is only half the equation. And if you're wondering what features actually make a home function beautifully, the ones builders stopped including decades ago to cut costs, the ones your grandparents' homes had that somehow disappeared, you need to see our next content, Oft Forgotten Home Features That Should Never Have Gone Away.